fathers and white mothers have more manners. Obviously, you don't have that, ma'am. And you came on stage and displayed the you basically made my point more valid. All right, you came on stage. You was disrespectful because I tried to ask about your point. You said that question was stupid about the dominant culture, and then once I asked you, no, you said you didn't.
Ma'am, can he finish his point? Now I am being pick me. Shut up.
And then you actually got the question once I asked you what's the dominant black culture. You said Black American culture because they're the majority. But then I said, why is that premise not the same when it comes to white people being a majority? And then you was all over the place. So you got offended, and then instead of all right, I'm sorry. So then you start ad-libbing, and then you start calling people pick-me's. It's just a conversation. You're new here, ma'am. You're welcome. We love biracials.
If the person is on drugs, does that count?
All right, wait. Let me get back to my point, though, because I'm fucking got away from my point. All right, so now I think this is a nuanced convo because in America, not as of recently, but historically, a lot of white family has disowned their biracial kid, and they automatically lean towards their father's side, right? Because usually those biracial unions are black father, white mother, correct? Historically, can we agree to that? Majority?
Historically, that the math doesn't track. Check that bitch. Bernard, shut up. Bernard.
Where are you getting that
ass nigga ain't whooping my ass.
That shit too, I swear to God.
Where are you getting
That shit, Gigi. Keep
No, thank you, Michael. I don't really feel
Richard Simmons looking ass bitch. You look like Richard Simmons, bitch.
Can you shut the fuck up so you
Say, bitch, you get your bulldog and solid ass out the way, bitch.
You keep wanting me to have this.
Hey, yo, listen. Why your voice so motherfucking monotone, bitch? Big ass Tom. Big ass Tom. You got it, bitch. Big ass Tom. Get your big ass Tom.
I don't give up.
Bitch, you sound like Dory, bitch.
You either want the dick or
I ain't
don't.
done yet, man. That just sound like Dory. Big ass Tom, bitch. The fuck you on, the Razapam?
That's why they created the one-drop rule.
I don't give about none of this shit. I come in the name of Jesus Christ.
I don't even think Jesus like that.
Man, yeah, well, Gigi packing y'all motherfuckers up.
What's she?
How about that, bitch? With your loud and chewing ass, bitch. With your big ass kangaroo titties. Yeah, bitch, you got kangaroo titties, bitch.
Just take this app for you. Elaine, she's a white mom and a black dad. Her pussy's a lot looser. Oh my God. That biracial. I'm just saying. You said something about manners. You said something about manners. It's a known fact. You can't talk about the biracial to a black mother to say they're going to have no manners. White mothers.
You know what the difference is? You know, my daddy taught me to go to school to find a husband, not only to, get my education, but also to find my husband. I'm just gonna say this, having a black, if I had a black mother, I think she would have taught me to go to school to not need a man. My daddy didn't teach me to go to school to not need a man. He taught me to go to school to find my husband in school and get my education. I think that's a big difference. We're not the same. What y'all want to say about that?
Girl, you've been in here 36 minutes.
That's why your ass your black mama taught you to be a stripper. How long you been here? I just wanted to say that about the other
Black woman who went to college. She's been here for 6 minutes. Go to college, and I was like, man.
Majority of black mothers teaches y'all to go to school to not need a man. Y'all throw y'all education in black men's face every day. Wait. So I'm gonna drop the mic. I got something to do, but I just wanted to say that. Thank God my daddy didn't teach me to not need a man. Thank God. My mom thank God. My mom had the first husband in college. Y'all want to throw up some marriage papers? How many of y'all been married in this room, though?
Somebody Kanye with her
Y'all want to throw up the paper? Y'all been married? How many of y'all have engagements? So how y'all learn about that? Mama teach you that? Did your mama teach you that? When they don't.
black rhetoric.
I'm not even talking about you, Jasmine. Girl, you hate black chicks. Shut up.
Like I said, what do y'all think about Tia's marriage? We just had him again.
Hold on.
14
It's been way over 14 minutes in Geneva. I'm still watching football. They done ready.
Me, Lou. I'm a black mother with a white husband, and all these bitches are my sons, so I do have
It was a message from her video post from
Natural, don't you have a white husband?
No, her husband is black. Yes. She was never in that type of time. She just believed that a woman should be cut. She actually loves black men.
Wait, hold on, because I was really trying to set up naturally. I just didn't want to say her name, but I was waiting for her to come up from Mike, and then she didn't say nothing. Oh, you got a black husband. My bad. All right.
Fuck. Oh, that was funny.
What is okay? Wait. Luke, can I say something, sidebar?
Yes, do your thing, man.
I don't know where y'all at right now.
Yeah, we all over the place.
I don't know where y'all at. But I was actually speaking to my husband about this. When y'all was in here fussing. We were talking about this. So my brothers have a lot of kids, and I have one brother that got a lot of kids with different moms. He spent a majority of his upbringing. My mom got remarried, right? So my daddy, he wanted to be a little hood booger. She was like, bye-bye. And she married the man that raised me, my dad, okay? So one of my brothers grew up he spent most of the time with my dad. So he had a certain view on black women, right? Like black women are disagreeable and they don't understand it, right?
Because if you see yourself in the correct way,
outside of marriage.
you are all as much extraordinary phenomena of nature.
He has 2 children.
As trees, clouds, the patterns in running water, the flickering of fire, the arrangement of the stars, and the form of a galaxy. You are all just like that. And there is nothing wrong with you at all. But I'll tell you what hermits realize. If you go off into a far, far forest and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you're connected with everything. Other people teach us who we are. Their attitudes to us are the mirror in which we learn to see ourselves. But the mirror is distorted. We are, perhaps, rather dimly aware of the immense power of our social environment. You could say that meditation doesn't have a reason or doesn't have a purpose. In this respect, it's unlike almost all other things we do, except perhaps making music and dancing. When we make music, we don't do it in order to reach a certain point. Such is the end of the composition. If that were the purpose of music, then obviously the fastest players would be the best. Also, when we are dancing, we are not aiming to arrive at a particular place on the floor, as in a journey. When we dance, the journey itself is the point. As when we play music, the playing itself is the point. And exactly the same thing is true in meditation. Meditation is the discovery that the point of life is always arrived at in the immediate moment. All I'm really saying is that you don't need to do anything, because Cause if you see yourself in the correct way, you're all as much extraordinary phenomenon. There's trees, clouds, atoms and running water, flickering of fire, the arrangement of the stars in the form of a galaxy. You are all just like that, and there is nothing wrong with you. But I'll tell you what hermits realize. If you go off into a far, far forest and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you're connected with everything. Other people teach us who we are. Their attitudes to us are the mirror in which we learn to see ourselves. But the mirror is distorted. We are perhaps rather dimly aware of the immense power of our social environment. We can say that meditation doesn't have a reason or doesn't have a purpose. In this respect, it's unlike almost all other things we do, except perhaps making music and dancing. When we make music, we don't do it in order to reach a certain point, such as the end of the composition. If that were the purpose of music, then obviously the fastest players would do the best. Also, when we are dancing, we are not aiming to arrive at a particular place on the floor as in a journey. When we dance, the journey itself is the point. As when we play, using the playing itself is the point. And exactly the same thing is true in meditation. Meditation is the discovery that the point of life is always arrived at in the immediate moment. We do not come into this world, we come out of it as leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe beats. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature. A unique action of the total universe. If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you'll spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living. That is to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. To remain stable is to refrain from trying to separate yourself from pain. Because you know that you cannot run away from fear is fear. Fighting pain is pain. Trying to be brave is being scared. If the mind is in pain, the mind is pain. The thinker has no other form than his thought. There is no escape. One is a great deal less anxious. If one feels perfectly free to be anxious, and the same may be said of guilt. And people get all fouled up because they want the world to have meaning as if it were words. As if you had a meaning, as if you were a mere word, as if you were something that could be looked up in a dictionary. You are meaning. How is it possible that a being with such sensitive jewels as the eye is, such musicians hand as musical instruments as the ears, and such fabulous arabesque of nerves as the brain can experience itself anything less than a god. A priest once quoted to me the Roman saying that religion is dead when the priests laugh at each other across the altar. I always laugh at the altar, be it Christian, Hindu, or Buddhist, because real religion is the transformation of anxiety into laughter. The world is filled with love play, from animal lust to sublime compassion. To put it still more plainly, the desire for security and the feeling of insecurity are the same thing. To hold your breath is to lose your breath. A society based on the quest for security is nothing but a breath detention contest in which everyone is as taut as a drum and as purple as a beat. We do not come in to this world. We come out of it as leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe, people. I want to share the story. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature. A unique action of the total universe. If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you'll spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living. That is to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. To remain stable is to refrain from trying to separate yourself from the pain, because you know that you cannot run away from fear is fear. Fighting pain is pain. Trying to be brave is being scared. If the mind is in pain, the mind is pain. The thinker has no other form than his thought. There is no escape. One is a great deal less anxious if one feels perfectly free to be anxious, and the same may be said of guilt. And people get all fouled up because they want the world to have meaning as if it were words, as if it had a meaning, as if you were a mere word, as if you were something that could be looked up in a dictionary. You are meaning. How is it possible that a being with such sensitive jewels as the eyes, such enchanted musical instruments as the ears, and such fabulous arabesque of nerves as the brain can experience itself anything less than a god? A priest once quoted to me the Roman saying that a religion is dead when the priests laugh at each other across the altar. I always laugh at the altar, be it Christian, Hindu, or Buddhist, because real religion is the transformation of anxiety into laughter. The world is filled with love play, from animal lust to sublime compassion. The world is filled with love play, from animal lust to sublime compassion. The world is filled with love play, from animal lust to sublime compassion. To put it still more plainly, the desire for security and the feeling of insecurity are the same thing. To hold your breath is to lose your breath. A society based on the quest for security is nothing but a breath retention contest in which everyone is as taut as a drum and as purple as a beet. come out of it as leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe peoples. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature, a unique action of the total universe. If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you'll spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living. That is to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. To remain stable is to refrain from trying to separate yourself from a pain. Because you know that you cannot. Running away from fear is fear. Fighting pain is pain. Trying to be brave is being scared. If the mind is in pain, the mind is pain. The thinker has no other form than his thought. There is no escape. One is a great deal less anxious if one feels perfectly free to be anxious. And the same may be said of guilt. And people get all fouled up because they want the world to have meaning, as if it were words, as if you had a meaning, as if you were a mere word, as if you were something that could be looked up in a dictionary. You are meaning. How is it possible that a being with such sensitive jewels as the eyes, such enchanted musical instruments as the ears, and such fabulous... You definitely said it. You didn't say it louder, bro. I liked your voice. But you're made up of both of complete same amount of B and A. Therefore, regardless of if one parent is one color and another parent is the other color, you are exactly 50% of that parent. So if that parent is black,
now that's 45.
Get them motherfuckers together. Raven look like
it's not one of these things that if you have a black mother, you're gonna come out with more of your mother's name. Coming out with the exact amount of DNA.
Hey, nephew. You got tweets in your head, guys. Stop talking about that.
So I hear what you're saying in the sense of, well, because you came through me, you're black. If you had white, you're gonna. But what y'all try to do is y'all try to discredit the male's part of the creation process of life. I don't know why y'all be doing that.
Can I ask
Let him finish this one time.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Ronnie.
okay, thank you, Mr. Prince. So what I'm saying is, yes, of course, 50-50. But when people say you are the seed of your father, and these men or males, depending if I'm in my feminist bag or not, are having children with women, are having children with men or women of other races, there is absolutely 0% a way that a woman who is non-black gives birth to a black child. That doesn't make sense. Imagine going through a Asian birth canal and you try to claim this baby as, because the men are always like, oh, that's a black baby because the daddy black. How the daddy?
So y'all never heard of Michael commercial?
Oh my God!
Y'all never heard of fetal
Yo.
They're shooting.
I can't, bro. Y'all gonna get shot. We already got somebody on it. Her name is Dr. Nirvana. She a chemist during the day, and she shoot niggas at night. Continue, Brown.
I'm almost done. I'm next.
Yo, bro, I've been trying to speak on that, and I keep thinking,
brother. Lord, I'm gonna let you cook, but during a squabble, I swear to God, let me say this. Y'all really fucked up the integrity of IGB, right? Now, all of a sudden, when people disagree, they get egoed out, and then instead of having a back and forth while you disagree, they automatically crash out because they intellectually lazy. And then also, during squabbles, we used to have a strict rule when two people are having a squabble back and forth. Disagreement don't mean disrespect. Let the two talk. Y'all got too fucking comfortable. It's like y'all my kids or I'm dating some of y'all motherfuckers. Y'all like in the beginning it's all good and then over the time and shit y'all get comfortable and showing y'all true colors. You ashy motherfuckers.
Oh, he said shit still.
My B-Day coming up. I gotta.
Your birthday.
My B-Day, man. 4 days, man. All right. Anyways, it was actually a good dialogue between Prince and the lady.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just got one more response. Go ahead.
All the people to the back. So I'm almost done. So people are creating babies. I just looked it up. The average intercourse session takes 5 to 7 minutes for the male to ejaculate. Your 5 to 7 minutes does not compare to her 9 months or whatever, 48 weeks. So the baby is living inside of this woman and doing all the things I already previously said. A woman who's not of color does not give birth to a black baby, and that's it in that land.
All right, so I just got one more response, and then we could vote on it and move on. Brownie, let me ask you this.
Yes.
If a race war, we know it probably ain't gonna happen. A race war was to jump off tomorrow, and Ku Klux Klan, skinhead, white supremacists, right, are got sides that they picking, and then black people got sides that they picking. Which one is the biracial person gonna be? Which side is the biracial person gonna be able to come to?
I mean, if they were raised with their black mother, they're picking black. But if they're raised by their and that's all of that, and that's it.
So you're saying if they was raised with a white mother, then they'll be accepted into the white supremacist clan?
They won't be accepted, but they'll try their hardest.
That's my question, Queen.
They'll try their hardest.
My question is, where will the biracial, which side, the black power side or the white supremacist side, which side is going to, in a race war, right, which side is going to embrace the biracial?
Well, they have to pick.
I'm just asking.
This Clown House Brain Rot brought to you by Haagen-Dazs.
Let's just be honest. Come on now, Bernie.
It's everybody's favorite ice cream.
Well, they have to choose for themselves, but the ones who get declined from their white side will come here. We have to decline them. So.
Okay, so I disagree with you. If there's a race war tomorrow, right? That biracials.
Why do we have to be the default? We're always out here.
A biracial race war.
I just know most skinheads, they're not going to accept biracials. But black people are much more likely to accept biracials.
I'm a triracial. Have you ever tried me?
Claim the biracials.
Right. So, right. But my point is, realistically, we accept biracials more than racist white people.
Based off the system.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with what I originally said.
Well, what I'm saying is because really, if it comes down to a race war, they more black.
It won't be a race war.
I don't care who your daddy is or your mama. It's down to a race war tomorrow. You coming over here with us?
If they give out their blackness, the white people.
Okay, I'm done, y'all. Thank you.
Let me do a poll for all right. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all agree with Prince. Put a 2 in the chat if y'all agree with Ronnie. Hey, real quick. Before Kim go, I just want to give some corrections. So, yes, biologically, right, the nuclear DNA, you get 50% from your mother, 50% from your father. The mitochondrial DNA, you get 100% from your mother. So, I know a lot of people confuse mitochondrial DNA with the nuclear DNA. So yes, you get 100% of the mitochondrial DNA from your mother, right? Which is, I think, is 37 genes versus 20,000 nuclear genes or whatever. Well, let's pass it to
brothers.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, bro. Since we're getting biological, right?
Wait, hold on.
It's
on Q. It's on Kim, and then Lord, and then Theo.
Can I go off the field?
I was before both of them, but
I was gonna say that
I'm off the field.
I'm not invested in this. I'm gender wars are for poor people, but I do think that the case for the maternal lineage is the mitochondrial DNA part. So every time a sperm and an egg get together, even if it's from the same two people, the genes recombine, right? So that's why siblings can look different. The thing that stays the same is the thing that's in the mother's eggs. It's the mitochondrial DNA, and that exact same mitochondrial DNA gets passed down from every mother to every child. So that's why before the DNA testing got good, they relied heavily on mitochondrial DNA because it's really easy to trace from generation to generation to generation. You can't do that with nuclear DNA. I should say, to do that with nuclear DNA because the recombination that happens with the 20,000 or so genes that are in our nuclear DNA. That's what I was going to say.
But also, hold on, before Laura go, I'm gonna let Theo go, then Laura. The X chromosome contribution, y'all forgot. So if you're a male, right, you got XY, then you get one X chromosome from your mother. So the X chromosome carries 900 genes, and then the Y chromosome from the father only carries 50 to 70 genes. So males get far more functional DNA from their mother's side because the X chromosome is so gene dense or whatever. So if you're a female, right, you get one X from your mom, and then you get one X from your dad, right? But boys, males get one X chromosome from their mother, which carries up to 900 genes compared to the Y chromosome from their father, only 50 to 70. But yeah, let's pass it to Theo and then Lord.
So packing that
I
out.
say, but that's also a big contributing factor to why the baldness gets passed down through mothers, right? So male pattern baldness.
Bald is beautiful.
Sons inherit only through mothers. I was just to add on to what you're saying, Lou.
Thank you. Theo, do you think?
Yeah, this is culture, so refined, right? The thing is to
refined.
It's culture, right?
I'm sorry. In your refined culture, did you graduate from college?
Thank you. So graceful. All right. So, in response to, I think it was Brownie who said this initially. Again, in the black quote unquote community, we have IQ issues. So Brownie is discussing DNA, right? So this is a category issue, and we are discussing culture and identity. Right? These are different classifications. When it comes to black men procreating, right? Patriarchal systems, right? With any other group, let alone black women. The father is where identity comes from. The father is where culture comes from. Doesn't matter what or who the mother is, this is how patriarchy functions. Now, if you have bad software in your brain, or you just come from a maladaptive society, which is non-patriarchal, which 99.9% of historical civilizations are patriarchal. You come from one of those, backward, maladaptive, cave-like hunter-gatherer tribes, then it's not, working. Then you would say the rhetoric, you would spew the rhetoric, and the would be what the young lady's calculus was, right? So the thing is, right, and I'm speaking to the men, and men have to understand this, men be clear. There's no discussion or debate in society when it comes to identity, culture, lineage with women. All right? They don't have any say in this. They don't create identity. They don't create culture. We do that. We are responsible for that. We are the arbiters and the protectors of lineage. And if we don't do that, and we don't transmit it properly, and we don't select properly, and the women you deal with don't assimilate, right? They don't download your software. You are doing the wrong thing as a man, right? You are responsible for the lineage. You are responsible for the identity. You are responsible to create, sustain, and transmit the culture. If you don't do this as a man, you will have the chaos and confusion that you see today in Black America. The disarray, the degeneracy, the hyper-emotionality, the low IQ.
I'm gonna restart the live on this one. I hope it goes out all night long.
Versus the other premise that always function in every civilization society that you have all over the globe. Now,
Hi, Theo, can I ask a question?
Kim,
Do you consider Judaism to be a backwards, degenerate culture?
in some ways, yes. Yes, in some ways, no.
Could you articulate the ways in which they are a degenerate, backwards culture?
Genital mutilation is backwards.
Which Jewish cultures participate in genital mutilation?
You ever heard of something called circumcision?
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So, that's a stretch, but I understand why you would. I understand why